they enjoy the journey. I was driving down the I-94 as fast as could be, going from Ann Arbor to the airport. I was running late for a flight, and it hit me all of a sudden. I had forgotten my jacket. You see, it was an unseasonably warm day, and I had to get my jacket. So I turned hard right down US 23. I went to the first exit, thinking that I'd just get off and turn around and head back to my condo, pick up my jacket and be on my way to the airport. When I got through by the first exit, I realized it was closed. It was closed. So I had to keep going. I had to keep driving down to the next exit. The next exit, I turned around. I checked out my dashboard clock. My flight was at 4:20. I had to swipe my passport at least an hour ahead of that flight. You see, I was on my way to Krakow, Poland. My girlfriend, the love of my life, was on a 2.5-week trip with her parents. And she had no idea I was coming. I was going over there to surprise her. I checked out the clock. I realized that there was no time that I was going to be able to make it back to my condo, get my jacket, head off to the airport. So I got to the airport, parked my car, ran in as fast as I could, got to the check-in counter, swiped my passport at 3:19 in the afternoon. A full minute to spare. No problem. After I got through security, I visited one of those airport shops. You know, those overpriced airport shops, the kind that people just usually like browse in, but they don't actually buy anything, you know. Yeah, I picked myself up a nice golf-style windbreaker, black with some red trim. A $45 investment in my stupidity. What could I do? So I got from my flight, I got to Warsaw, Poland at 11:30 in the morning. The train from Warsaw to Krakow, you have to understand my itinerary here. I was supposed to take a flight from Detroit to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Warsaw, take a train from Warsaw to Krakow, and then meet my girlfriend and her parents at the tallest tower in the largest square in Europe. I had a plan. I even had a backup plan. You could say, well, you know, I'm an engineer by trade, so you could say I was a little OCD, or, you know, as we prefer in order, CDO. And all engineers have this kind of trait in there. Any engineers in the room here?
Oh,
got a few? Yes, that explains a lot, doesn't it? Yes. So I land in Warsaw, Poland at 11:30 in the morning. The train to Krakow was departing at noon. What you need to understand, though, is that the train station is a full 25 minutes drive across town. I grabbed my roller bag, my passport, and my new jacket in tow, and ran as fast as I could to the nearest cab. I jumped in the first taxi, and I needed to convey to the driver somehow that I needed to get to that train station as quick as possible. Luckily, I spoke semi-fluent Spanish. Spanish in Poland. But I thought quick. I'm like, funny, he too spoke the universal language of the Benjamin. So I slipped him the 20. He understood that I had to get to that train station as quick as possible. The train was scheduled to leave at noon. I got there at 12:01. Darn. But luckily, the train was still there. So I quickly grabbed the ticket, got on the train. The doors were closing behind me. It actually caught my roller bag. And I got on the train and sat down, relaxed for a moment. The conductor came around collecting tickets. And then when he got to me, he gave me the stern look. Again, I didn't know what he was saying, but it didn't look good. Takes a look. Apparently, my ticket was for the 3 o'clock train, not the noon train, because that had already left, supposedly. But not to worry, I spoke fluent, Spanish. But amazingly, he too, this conductor, he too spoke the universal language of the Benjamin. So I slipped him a 20. And once again, I was on my way once more. So I got to Krakow, $40 later, but I got to Krakow in time. I checked into found my hotel, checked in, and went up to my room. I started unpacking my bags. I hear right next door. I know that cough. That was my girlfriend, Rosie, the love of my life. She and her parents were in the room right next door. Great. Now remember, she has no idea that I'm coming to meet her. So I listen through those paper-thin walls, and I hear her and her parents go out of the room and walk down the stairs. I decide to go check out this tallest tower in the largest square in Europe. We were to meet there at 6 p.m., and I had arranged this with her parents ahead of time. So I walked and I found the tower, and it was pretty impressive, a nice large tower in a large square in Europe. But there was a sign on the door that said, "Closing at 6 p.m." We were supposed to meet at 6 p.m. Not good. Not good at all. So I began to wander around, but I realized I'm an engineer. I had a plan. I had a backup plan. And because I'm a little CDO. And so, or OCD, whichever. And so I went to the backup plan. And that was to find the fountain, this exquisite fountain in the square. I'm like, how hard can this be? You know, it can't be that hard. There's got to be a big fountain here. So I turn around and there it is. This nice, big, elaborate fountain. Looked perfect, looked beautiful. Except it was surrounded by 300 yards of fencing. It was closed. I had a plan, I had a backup plan. Oh no, what am I going to do? So I start wandering around aimlessly, not sure where I'm going, what I'm going to do. And I walk through this indoor market, and I turn the corner, and there she is! Her dad's eyes meet my eyes, both sets of eyes bulging like cartoon characters, you know, like Bugs Bunny or something like that. Her mom grabs her by the shoulders, turns her around and says, "Look, Rosie, a naked man!" I quickly hightail it out of there, and I'm wondering, did she see me? Did 5 months of planning go for naught? Did she notice my new jacket? Thinking, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I walked to a sidewalk cafe. I mingled with the locals and found I was able to keep an eye on the front door of that tower. No less than 5 minutes later, Rosie and her parents come around the corner of that tower, and they go in. They too had seen the front door. Yes! That sign that said, closing at 6 p.m. So I gave her a few minutes, let them go up to the top of the tower. And while they were doing that, I was slowly taking a sip of water, enjoying my beverage. And so they went up. They went in, and I followed right behind them. I went in, bought my ticket, and started bounding up the stone staircase, one of those ancient, cold, tight stone staircases with a lot of corners. And as I'm halfway up the tower, I turn around the corner, and there they are again. So I quickly ducked behind the last corner that I turned, and I was wondering, did she see me? Did 5 months of planning all go for naught? Did she notice my new jacket? It was then that I had to make a decision. It was now or never. Was this going to happen right now, or was it not? And I decided to go for it. I wanted to remember this moment forever. So I took out my camera. It was a big camera. It was a big camera. So I took out my camera, and I decided, and just for grins, I decided to put on a foreign accent. I go around the corner, I say, excuse me, you mind if I take your picture? I've got 3 really great photos of her. The first, the second, the third. Tears start to stream down her face. I get down on a knee. At this point, the women in the audience here are going, "Oh, that's so cute. I see you." The men, they're like, "Dude, this is way too much effort." Tears are streaming down her face. And I say, I don't remember exactly what I said to her, but I remember it started with, "Razi, I love you." And it ended with, "Will you marry me?" I don't know. Razi, stop. Just stop. Stop. Was that a yes? Yes! Yes. It was a yes. See, I had plans and I had backup plans. You make plans and you make backup plans. But what happens between those plans and reality, that's called life. Those who are better than average, those who stand out from the crowd, enjoy those twists and turns, those challenges and changes, that adventure, and everything that goes on between it. And they find a way to enjoy the journey. Those who are better than average find a way to enjoy that journey. That's called life.